So we are in Washington, D.C. and right on the National Mall, right behind me, right through those trees, is the White House. You can't really see it too well, but we'll probably show you that a little bit later. But what I do want to show you, as we're making our way to the National American History Museum, is this bad boy. Now, we're not going to the top because I am definitely afraid of heights. This is the Washington Monument with sirens in the back. But if you'll notice, right here in that area, it changes color. A lot of people ask, why is that? Well, they started building the monument. They got 100, I think it was like 120 foot up, something like that, maybe more. And they ran out of money. And then later, they got the funds to build the second part. So at one point, the Washington Monument was only that high, and then they got the funds to finally complete it. And that's what you see today. And there you go. Let's zoom in. Better view of the White House from here. That is the White House. And I think the State of the Union is today. So, yeah, that's where the president lives. So we're walking to the museum, and here's the president. Okay, well, that was something. Not for sure what it was, but they're headed to the U.S. Capitol. And we're going right here, away from that. This is the National Museum of American History by the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. Let's go in and have some fun. So we just made it in here, and we're going to show you around. We're not going to do a whole lot of talking, but we're going to show you some exhibits. Pretty cool John Bull locomotive from 1831. It was a lot different than the trains we have today. And this is highlighting travel and maritime with ships. This is pretty neat. This is from early cruise ships. Their attire looks more like a U.S. Navy uniform to me. But pretty neat. And this is talking about World War II merchant ships, oil tankers, and here's some stuff about the shipyards, which is some of this is in Mobile, Alabama, where I live. So pretty cool. The U.S. Joseph Henry with a lighthouse light at the top. We've seen those. So Fresnel lenses for a lighthouse. And got some ship models, Charles H. West, U.S. Joseph Henry, and this is going to be the U.S. Greenbrier paddle wheel, and then a hopper dredge, Willets Point. Pretty cool. This is pretty neat. It's the recreation of an engine room. Pretty accurate too. This is your early Rolls-Royce. And then a trolley. Pretty neat. Pretty cool little vintage car here with a model. I guess this is going to be a Model A, but how would you like to cruise around in that thing? The headlights are powered by, well, kerosene. This is from North Carolina in 1927, and this is the 1401 out of Charlotte. And check this out. So pretty neat, and there's people walking around, but not a whole lot. But some pretty cool camper. How would you like to have this thing? I would love that. So anyway, let's explore the rest of the museum, shall we? So a lot of stuff here. It's synonymous with American culture. Mickey Mouse, Miss Butterworth's, and Coca-Cola, and an igloo. John Deere and Pizza Hut. Okay. So this caught my eye. And someone that does, you know, filmography and cinematography. This is an old movie camera. That is about 500 times bigger than the one I'm using now. Huh. Who doesn't remember the old Coca-Cola Santa with all the elves? But if you want to keep a slender figure, you can't deny Lucky Strikes are the way to go. Huh. That is some different sloganing than today. And I just had to. Sorry, Mr. Peanut. This is an early European helmet that was used in the conquest of the Americas. Here's some items from the Native American fur trade in the Americas. And a little possibles bag there. And some very cool moccasins from around 1790. So this is the 1776 Pierre du Cimetière. Probably didn't say that right. It's the national seal that included the English rose, Irish harp, and Scottish thistle, fleur-de-lis, Dutch lime, and German eagle. Continental Congress chose an American eagle, but kept his motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one. So you can kind of see that there. Very scary Uncle Sam figure from the early 1900s. No, thank you. Here's a Native American rifle from Chief Thomason. I bet you that thing shoots really good. Very cool Continental coat from the American Revolution and Brown Bess musket. But if you look here, no stamp at T. Yeah, we don't want any tats on our T. So during World War II, you had to black your curtains out in fear of getting bombed, and they started selling these blackout kits. Pretty cool piece of World War II history. I think I may need a new hair job. Okay, so this is really cool. This is the desk of Thomas Jefferson, where he wrote the first draft of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Huh. That is a cool piece of history. You can still see ink stains on the drawer from him writing. And this is George Washington's document box. He presided over the Constitutional Convention in 1787, and he used this box to preserve the papers by the convention. So the founding of our country was in this box. Very cool. And this is our early Liberty flag. Pretty cool. You can tell scraps have been taken for souvenirs. But yeah, that's what happened with flags. So this is a fence rail piece, and it was made for the Friends of Abraham Lincoln. And if you look here, here is "Fear not, old Abe is our," and then on the other side, probably "Our President" or something like that. But that's a Lincoln Parade axe from 1860 when he was running for president. And then a Davy Crockett hatchet right beside him. That's a lot of torches. And that's all campaign torches. So this is a Uncle Sam costume that was worn by Wilbur E. Lepine. And he handed out printed cards. He first appeared as Uncle Sam on 56 and took part in numerous ceremonies and parades all across the country, including 5 presidential inaugurations. And just all kinds of Independence Day stuff. And pictures of Abraham Lincoln and more political stuff. Now this is cool. This is the Historic Clock of America. And holy cow. There's all kinds of presidents in there and different people. And that is one heck of a clock. So that's one part of the exhibit, and let's keep going. Let's go upstairs. Okay, so this is where the original Star Spangled Banner is, the flag that inspired the national anthem. Now we can't take video or photos in here, but we're gonna go see it. And well, unfortunately I can't show it to you because the light and stuff would hurt it. But we do have a cotton gin, and Eli Whitney's cotton gin. If you want to know how your clothes are made, well, this is the way it's made and has been for centuries. But his cotton gin is now evolved into a much, much bigger operation than what it was. But let's just show you how this thing worked.
And of course there's seeds in there, so in order to process this cotton and do anything with it, to pick these seeds out. And it's not easy. So when it had to be done by hand, somebody who was really experienced could maybe get 5 pounds of cotton cleaned a day. But with this machine, which pulls the cotton through these little grooves and then pulls the seeds out, there you go. A person could clean 50 pounds of cotton a day. And that really changed the economy, not just of the South, but of the entire United States.
And guys, this ain't easy.
And you see it comes out here, clean cotton.
Oh, wow. How would you like to do this all day
Clean
long?
cotton looks kind of like this, just as an example. So the seeds are pulled out, come down to the bottom of the machine, and the clean cotton comes out the other way. Clean 50 pounds of cotton a day, approximately. And of course they started building, as you suggested, bigger and bigger, and they brought steam power into it, so pretty soon cotton became a huge crop, whereas before it was too labor intensive to really be hugely profitable.
Guys, we're always happy to find people that know a lot more than what we do when we travel, and I appreciate it so much. And guys, you got to come check this place out. So we can show you this portion. On September the 14th, 1814, U.S. soldiers of Baltimore's Fort McHenry raised a huge American flag to celebrate a crucial victory over British forces during the War of 1812. And this is what inspired Francis Scott Key's words. And we're walking in now. But we can't film once we get inside. But White House timber, charged by the British in 1814. And if you notice in the words of the Star Spangled Banner, the rocket's red glare. What does that mean? Well, this is a rocket that gave off a red glare, and it was used during the American Revolution. And here's a exploded fragment of a cannonball and the British bombshell, the type that was used on Fort McHenry. And this right here is actually the spyglass and the type that Key had used. All right, well, we're gonna go in. We cannot show you the flag because of preservation reasons, but unfortunately, we can't do that. But come see it for yourself. Okay, so we can't show you the flag, but the flag is right through this wall. But we can show you what was used to make it. This is the sewing implements that would have actually been used to make the flag. The flag featured 15 stars, 15 stripes, and that's somewhat of what it looked like. It was 30 by 42 foot. And guys, let me tell you, that thing is huge. I just saw it, it's big. And the flag was stitched together by Mary Pickersgill. And it took her a long time. This is a punch bowl presented by the citizens of Baltimore in the shape of the British bombshell we just showed you. To George Armistead. Huh. Well, here is a piece of the flag. Original snippings of the Star Spangled Banner. So you can see a piece. And then this is a canvas bag in which the Armistead family kept the Star Spangled Banner. So the first flag of our country, which is pictured here, in 1907, outside the Smithsonian Castle, was actually in this bag, and it was later moved there. That's what it looked like in 1995. And then that was what it looked like in 1949 displayed here. Okay, that's cool. And wow. So a lot of history right here in this room. So what you're looking at is Clara Barton's actual ambulance. And she used in 1898 to 1904. And pretty neat. So we're walking through the price of freedom, and I'm going to show you a little bit of what's in here from the American Wars. So if you were a British soldier, this is some of the things you would have seen or used, and pretty cool. This waistcoat was worn by Colonel Adam Stephen of the Virginia Regiment. This pistol was owned by General Braddock, and it was a gift to George Washington. And here it is now. So these are relics from Fort Stanwix, and they were recovered after the battle. Or the rifle is an 80 caliber British musket, which was recovered off of a British soldier during the Battle of Bennington, Vermont in August of 1777. The saber was used by Major Benjamin Talmadge. He was commander of the 2nd Continental Light Dragoons at Saratoga. And there's a saber there. And then the uniform was worn by Colonel Peter Gansvoort at Fort Stanwix in 1777. And the powder horn is from 1775. And there was scrimshaw the powder horns with different mounts and designs, and you see that there. Okay, now this is really neat. This is George Washington's camp chest and his stool. So when he camped in the field, this is the stuff he used. George Washington cooked out of some of this, ate off of that fork, and set his behind on that stool. You can tell he did a lot of sitting. So on the afternoon of October 19th, 1781, Brigadier General Charles O'Hara led a column of British troops out of Yorktown, Virginia. He surrendered to Major General Benjamin Lincoln, who directed the troops to lay down their weapons. And this was the sword carried by Benjamin Lincoln at that time. Pretty ornate handle there. So this is one of the British regimental flags surrendered at Yorktown, and this is an Ansbach Bayreuth flag. So that man right there wore this sword during his years as General and Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. He gave it later to his nephew, and told him to only draw it in self-defense or in defense of the country and its rights. So this is actually George Washington's sword he carried during the Revolutionary War. So this is a lorgnette, or a table, as you may see it. This was used by General George Washington, and if you'll notice, it's not a pocket knife, just a set of eyeglasses. Now, Washington said that his work was making him go gray and blind at the same time, so it's kind of funny to have that, but pretty cool. The bowl has the Washington family crest on it, which is pretty neat. Now, if you're familiar with a Louisiana Purchase, you will know William Clark, and this is a replica, not the real one, but a replica of his compass. And this is a Jefferson Peace Medal carried by Lewis and Clark to give as gifts to the Native Americans. Well, this jacket was worn by Andrew Jackson, General Andrew Jackson. And this was his jacket. You've seen this in a lot of paintings, photos. This is the jacket he was wearing. And then he was known for the Battle of New Orleans, during the War of 1812, the Trail of Tears, and later the President. Now, we were talking about the Star Spangled Banner earlier. This is another piece of the Star Spangled Banner. So this rifle was carried by the Alamo famous Sam Houston. This isn't just a regular musket. If you'll notice, the breech on this musket was altered by him to fire 5 bullets. I have never seen that before, but I have seen it now. This is some more Alamo relics. This is worn by Major Zachary Taylor while fighting in Mexico. And then we have more stuff here that you can see. And don't have time to explain every single thing here, but very cool stuff. Now, where I live, the big subject is the Creek Indian Wars. It's what took place where I live. It took place in right after 1812 and 1813 with the massacre of Fort Mills. And these are some trade tomahawks. And this pistol was presented by Andrew Jackson to Major Lamell P. Montgomery, who died at Horseshoe Bend. And then some Cherokee moccasins from 1800 to 1850. And then a .45 caliber Pennsylvania Kentucky rifle that was used during the time. So this is very cool. This is the hat and sword, the model 1850 sword carried by William Tecumseh Sherman during the Battle of Shiloh, Tennessee in April of 1862. This is Confederate General John Mosby's shell jacket, cavalry jacket, and a cavalry salver used by General Philip Sheridan. Now, this hat is pretty cool. This is worn by Admiral David Farragut at the Battle of Mobile Bay, and his service dress coat also worn during the bombardment at Mobile Bay. And then Raphael Sims, all this from right where I'm from. And a vegetable dish off of the CSS Alabama. So this is a chair used by Ulysses S. Grant, and field glasses used by Ulysses S. Grant, and Robert E. Lee's hat. Okay then. About the surrender of the American Civil War at Appomattox Courthouse. This is exactly where it took place. The chair of Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant sat in, and the table they used to sign the surrender, and the depiction of that, and the painting behind it. These are relics presented to General Winfield Scott Hancock from the Battle of Gettysburg, and he was wounded in that battle, but these relics were presented to him. Pretty neat. And then a big horse. So we're walking into, very quickly, the World War II exhibit. We don't have much more time here, but got some field gear from World War II, prosthetic arm, leg. This is World War One. I'm sorry, but a engine and a machine gun. So as you walk in, you have a German Field Marshal's baton right off the bat, right here. Pretty neat. MP40. That would be a 6.5 millimeter Italian 1891 carbine with a bayonet on the top. Pretty cool rifle. And we've got a massive horde of war bond posters and depictions of the women hard at work, the Rosie the Riveters. That's still one of my favorites. He's watching you. Massive, massive collection of war bond posters. And if you look here, here's the depiction of a barracks layout where the men train to go to war. So, Buttkin right there. And then how they would be laid out in the barracks, maybe. Pretty cool recreation. I'd love to do that at my house. But some Navy stuff. A German Kriegsmarine submarine jacket for U-boat. American bazooka rounds, and then Afrika Korps helmet. The infamous double buckle boots and the grease gun. Pretty cool. So this jacket was worn by George Gay, who was a sole survivor of the squadron at the Battle of Midway in June the 4th through 7th of 1942. And this is a life preserver he would have probably been wearing as well as a pilot. It's called the Mae West. You guys have seen that before on here. And then some Pacific stuff with the BAR rifle. No, not Bard, but a BAR rifle, Browning automatic rifle, and a American flamethrower. There's something pretty cool. This is a Nazi flag P-38 pistol, a U-boat officer's dagger. This was taken at the surrender of German forces at a U-boat base at Lorient, France on the 10th of May, 1945. And it was given to U.S. Army Sergeant Major Arthur Hoffman, who served as a translator. This is obviously some dug relics from the Battle of the Bulge and some things that was worn at the Battle of the Bulge here. Pretty cool. So, pretty cool little display of American military history. We're going to see what else the museum has to offer, and then we're going to get out of here. So, this is very cool. This is the USS Philadelphia. Fought during the American Revolution. And this is the ship. The ship Philadelphia sank in around 1776. 1777 during the American Revolution. Don't know a whole lot about the ship, honestly. But this is it. Had no idea this was here. But it is the entire ship. And its guns. Wow. Okay, so we didn't see everything, but we most certainly saw the main thing we wanted to see, and that was the Star Spangled Banner. If you guys are ever in DC, there's so many Smithsonian museums to check out, but this is a must. This is a very cool museum, and there's a lot in there. We didn't see things like the Wizard of Oz items and Kermit the Frog, you know, iconic things like that. But we saw mainly what I wanted to see in there, which was, you know, a lot of the military stuff, and hopefully that gives you some incentive to come yourself. Well, with that being said, we're off to the next adventure. So until next time, keep preserving history. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.